Thank you so much for joining us today for the Pastor's Potluck Podcast. Here on the Pastor's Potluck, it's similar to a normal potluck where you might get something that you want and there may be something that you just want to pass up altogether. And that's okay. There's something here for everybody. Our goal here is to encourage you and maybe in the process entertain you. If you're ready, let's dig in. Welcome to another episode of the Pastor's Potluck Podcast. It's the first one of the year.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I'm excited.
Me
and it is, dude, I keep on looking at this thing and I'm going, you know what? I probably don't want to fill this thing up anymore.
I bet ChatGPT could knock that out for you for the whole year.
You think so?
I guarantee if you asked ChatGPT to put in like icebreaker, like say I need icebreaker questions for a for a podcast called the Pastor's Potluck.
Yeah.
Tell them what you're trying to do. I guarantee it would spit out really interesting questions.
Yeah. Just probably just say 100 of them, and you know you're going to get a couple of them that obviously we can't ask on here.
Yeah.
But at least
Yeah, you just tell them what the flavor of the podcast is, though, and like it'll probably I bet it'd be killer.
Well, I think that sometimes like with like AI generated stuff, if you put like a Christian themed podcast, which obviously this is, I mean, we talk a lot about God here, which is that's all right. And but I think you're going to get stuff that's like, what do you think Jesus did in this circumstance or whatever, like
That'd be fun too.
I don't know.
Just see what I guarantee ChatGPT can make our mystery meat questions. Like, I bet that would take all that problem that we have of coming up with those questions away.
Yeah, probably. Sure. I need to throw some of those prompts. It's kind of crazy, like what AI is doing right now.
I've never used it either. I'm not an AI fan.
But
crazy. I'm cool with it with other people using it. I'm just not going to.
No, it is absolutely crazy. I showed you a little bit today of what could happen.
Yeah.
Generating art and stuff. It's nutty. Like
if I would,
cool. I need to learn the prompts, because the more detailed and specific you are in your prompts, then the better your result that you want. Like,
yeah.
Instead of like creating something and spending hours and hours and hours to do it.
Yeah. If
you're good at the prompts. So one of the reasons why I'm so infatuated with AI and this whole prompting system, there was this artist in the 50s and 60s, maybe a little bit in the early 70s, but his name was Sol LeWitt. Mm-hmm. And what he did is he wrote down detailed instructions of what, if someone read this, that anybody could create this ginormous piece of art. And it made it it was so simple and easy and so detailed that anybody could do it. And it was all like geometric style type art. And he's one of my favorite artists just because that he didn't necessarily do the art. He just gave people the power to create it. Yeah. Just with all the detailed instructions. Cool. So a little tidbit. That's what you get. That's the price of admission at an art college. You get that type of why am I grabbing for this right now?
Not quite there yet.
Yeah, I know. Well, we're looking ahead to 2024, and we're excited. It's God is always doing something new, and not only just us as individuals, what He's talking to us, maybe new ways that you and I are possibly leading our family, but also just like with the ministry that I oversee and you as the church as a whole, God is always kind of like giving us and inspiring us and talking to us and putting all kinds of just ideas of how He wants us to lead the church, worship ministry, our families, and ourselves. And I want to talk about that. I think it's you brought it up, and I thought, I was like, man, this is a fantastic topic.
Yeah, and we're going to do a series of them we're going to pull in the other pastors too after this one. So, yeah, I think it's a good way to start off the year. For whoever does listen to this, we assume probably most of them follow our church or attend our church in somehow.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's good that people know kind of some of the stuff that's coming up, but also just kind of, I don't know, maybe even some of the changes or things that we're trying to do in our personal lives.
Yeah.
That way people realize, like, hey, we're not just like, we're not trying to sell y'all something that we're not taking ourselves.
Yeah.
Right. Like, for whatever reason, it's, I understand it shouldn't be like this, but like the end of the year and the start of a new year is just a natural way for people to go, all right, it's time to reset. Like, maybe the end of the year, you started going off path a little bit, like things started to get a little shaky. It's like, all right, for whatever reason, when that calendar turns over, you go, all right, let's do something different. Let's make some changes. Like, like even here, like in December, we had our staff evaluation conversations. Like, we even changed that this year where it was more of a conversation where I could just say, hey, how was your year and all this? And then we all pretty much talked about the same thing in all of our in those conversations. And it was like, all right, and here's the best time to start that. The first of the year, here it is, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you could start something new anytime that you want, but like, it's just that new time. And so I think that it's going to be a fun series for people to kind of get a glimpse into their church, into their pastors, as far as what we're excited about right now.
Yeah, some things to look forward to, some things to shoot towards, and giving the time for you to kind of like process like what that looks like is like super imperative. I think so many times, like even on a personal note, like, sometimes you just have to just make a decision and get off the couch and go do it. But also, but planning something out is going to be more effective because you have short-term goals, you have long-term goals. Like, what does it look like to get to these different milestones in those things? Like for me, I ain't gonna be doing any running anytime soon. I almost smashed my whole foot off this morning. But for like a personal goal of mine is I want to do 10K this year. Because last year I said I want to do a 5K, and I ran 12 of them.
Nice.
Which is fantastic. Like, super exceeded any kind of goal that I had for last year. But doubling up, 5K is like 3.1 miles, so a 10K is 6.2 miles. But it's not only just running a 10K, it's completing it within a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
And how do I do that? It's okay. You've got to wake up every Tuesday. You got to carve out 30 minutes, 45 minutes out of every Tuesday and Thursday, whatever that looks like, and just run. It could be Monday and Friday, but
you like to run outside?
Not whenever it's cold, man. But it hurts my lungs.
Yeah.
Like, it burns, dude. Especially whenever it's like 30 degrees. It's just too dry.
Do you like to run in the mornings or in the afternoon, evening?
In the afternoon, the evening, whenever it's like kind of warmed up.
Yeah.
But that may change summertime.
Yeah.
Because I started running in the fall.
It gets hot, and those runs are hot in the afternoon in the summer.
Yeah, and I don't mind it being hot because I like if I'm working out, I want to sweat.
Yeah.
I want to burn the calories, but
yeah. Yeah, that's part of my goal. I know, like, a lot of people that probably listen to this probably have only known me since post-COVID. But, like, before COVID, like, I was thinking this morning as I was leaving the gym, I said, I promise you, I bet I have been to the gym in the last 10 years more than anyone that is this overweight that you've ever met.
Yeah.
Like, I've always, like, gone to the gym, even though I, like, have weight issues. Like, I've always gone to the gym. And then when COVID hit, like, it just, like, something triggered, and, like, that laziness of not being able to do anything settled into, like, every area of my life. And, like, I've slowed, over this past year was a better work year for me than the previous year was. It's like I could feel things start to ramp back up in that area. But on the physical side of it, like, I have not been able to get it back together. Yeah. And so, like, that's this year. This year I feel more motivated than I have since before COVID. Yeah. I used to be a 4 to 5 day a week. Like, there was many, many times that, like, many months that I was 4 to 5 days a week easily.
Yeah.
Going into the gym and stuff. And then, and that happened to a lot of people with COVID, like, just even though I've never been like the tiniest, most fit person, like I was at least healthy in the sense that like I was going to the gym and stuff. I was, 50, 60 pounds lighter than what I am right now. And so that's my goal is like, I got to get that, I'm 37 now. I got to get that drive back to get back into the gym, feel good.
Well, it's only going to get harder as we get older.
Oh, yeah.
If we don't make those changes, like, because you and I want to see something different in ourselves physically, but also because of us improving that area of our life, we're better for our spouses.
Yeah.
We're better for our kids. And
Yes.
and long term, like it's just harder to get motivated to do those things the older that we get. And if you can create those good habits now, that's why I was like, I asked you about it this morning. I was just like, you got any kind of goals or whatever? And you're just like, not just the routine, just the routine, just the routine. And I think that's a great short-term goal. And it's just like with like, I don't know. I look at it as set up like 10 goals that you want to see. Yeah. It's just like what we track with at work. Hey, how's it tracking? How's this coming along? Is this where it needs to be? Is this what's...
Yeah. I'm working out with our intern, Will. So having that extra level of accountability has always helped me. That's been some of the times that, at the very least, it helps kick me off in the right direction. Yeah. If I've got that level of accountability, then once you're a month or 2 months into it, like then it becomes, because that's my goal. That's why when you ask me like, hey, do I have a weight goal? I'm like, I really don't. My goal is to get more active. Yeah. And make better decisions than what I have for the past 4 years. Because when I do those things, the weight stuff takes care of itself. I overall get healthier. Mm-hmm. I had my old pastor and old boss here, Mark, would always tell me, like, the times in my life whenever I'm physically active in the gym were the times I was most spiritually healthy, mentally healthy, productive at work. Mm-hmm. It fixes, for me, like working out is kind of that keystone habit that whenever I've got it going, I don't know why it is. There's a book out there called Keystone Habit that I have been told about. I haven't actually went and read it. Yeah. Like, everyone has these like little habits though that when you do it, you're more likely to do other stuff as well. So like for me, when I work out, I am much more likely to read my Bible, pray, be more friendly, be more social, feel more confident. Mm-hmm. I'm going to work harder. I'm going to be a better dad. I'm going to be a better husband. Like, every area of my life falls into place whenever I am physically active and feel good. Yeah. Because a lot of the hey, I'm less productive at work than I would like to be comes from feeling like garbage physically. When I don't want to get down into the floor and play games with my kids, it's because I feel like garbage physically. So like everything literally gets taken. I can spend 2 times as much energy and time on a sermon whenever I feel good, whereas if I'm not feeling good, then I'm going to kind of like go bare minimum type deal. So like that's the thing right now that has a lot of my focus is I'm trying to learn a different way to eat. So I'm trying intermittent fasting to only have like a 6-hour window a day to eat. So I'm trying that. Then I want to focus on eating the right things during that window, and then get the exercise going. And
vegetables.
I am doing the AG1, so I'm drinking it, which for me, again, if I try to force myself to do stuff like that, I'll just quit. I'll be like, you know what?
We're very familiar with that.
So with like something like AG1, like Athletic Greens, where like I drink them, something like that, I can literally get what everyone else is getting in 2 sips. Yeah, like I can. And those actually taste fine. I used to do it in the morning, and I used to have issues with it because for whatever reason, this may be oversharing for a podcast, I have really bad like gag reflexes in the morning. Like plenty of times, you can ask Megan. I'll just be brushing my teeth, and I'll literally get sick. I'll get sick in my mouth. It's constant. So I was trying to drink those in the morning, the first go around of them, and I was having like literally like heaving over the kitchen sink. Really, and that puts in your mind, oh, this tastes horrible. Yeah. Now I'm doing it at noon whenever I break my fast. It's like the first thing I put into my body. Oh, yeah. But now that my body's up and awake, the gag reflex isn't doing what it normally does at like 7 in the morning. Nice. So I'm drinking it in 2 drinks, and it's no big deal. So I'm getting all these vitamins.
So weird too.
It is. Like, seriously, when I there will be just mornings in the, like, I brush my teeth in the shower.
Yeah.
That literally my whole family be like, what the heck's going on in there? I'm like, I'm just brushing my teeth. And it's like, I don't know what it
I'm
is.
just brushing my teeth.
Yeah, it is. It's so weird. But yeah, so I'm focused really heavily on physical health right now because I know that it will lead to spiritual health. Yeah, because we're like this to get into another realm of excitement. I'm very excited for this journey through Luke that we're getting ready to do.
Oh, I know,
it's our
dude.
First,
so am I.
it's our first thing that we've tried like this. Like, this is, again, most people that do this will be like, "Oh, that was cool" or whatnot. And I'll just to tell you the backstory of it. It has been brutal.
Yeah.
Right, like from the inception of it in September. To the planning, to everyone having to do their study, to get their devotions written, then the filming, then the editing.
Busiest time of the year.
All of that during the busiest time of the year. And now it's going to be for the next 50 days, all of us doing whatever we can to get the information out to people. Like, it's a huge undertaking. But, like, I have a goal for our church to have an online library of Bible studies of different books of the Bible.
Yeah.
This is the way that we're going to accomplish it, is going to be through these spiritual growth journeys. That way, eventually, because these will live out on YouTube forever. Yeah. Eventually, people that don't have anything to do with Southridge Church might be on YouTube and type in Bible study, and maybe this will come up. And here will be a 50-day devotional that will introduce them to Jesus. Because then, like, this fall, we're going to do Luke. And then as we get better at this, then we'll be like, all right, maybe next January we'll do a couple of the maybe one of the longer letters that Paul wrote.
Yeah.
And like, okay, those get very difficult, which is why as a staff this year, we're going to be focused on kind of theological development. That way, when it comes to stuff like that, we know that we're all telling one solid story from beginning to end.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for the journey through Luke. And
yeah, I am too, man.
It hit me today too. So I don't want this to sound bad, but like our first teaching series of the year is called Hills to Die On. Mm-hmm. And where this came from is Southridge is part of the Church of God out of Anderson, Indiana. It's a group of about 66 churches around the state. And our state pastor asked all the churches in the state to preach the same thing for the first 7 weeks of the year, like the same topics, not the same sermons or texts, like just the same topics. Yeah. So he's like, wouldn't it be cool if all of our churches, like, we're all getting fed the same thing? And I was like, all right, yeah, that would be cool or whatnot. But truthfully, I just was like, I'm not real excited about it. And then this morning I was writing the first sermon in that series, and I went onto the website for the Church of God and noticed, like, there's 34 churches participating in this. Like, I think then it hit me. I was like, man, that is really, really cool. Like, our church and 33 other churches around the whole state of West Virginia are all going to be focused on the same thing. Yeah. Like, I feel like there's an intense amount of power in something like that to know,
it's the spirit of unity.
Yeah.
Saying, look, we're going to put what we would normally do aside, and then just literally just bombard the whole state with this is the tenets of our faith,
Yeah. So, like, what I wasn't super excited about, like, initially, like, I got really excited. I was like, man, it's just that reminder. Like, I can't wait to tell people on Sunday, like, look, we're part of something bigger than even what we can see right here. Yeah. Like, and it's very cool to be part of that. So that's another one of the things that I'm very excited for. And that starts this Sunday for the next 7 weeks.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I'm like most looking forward to is just seeing God work in individuals' lives, and then they finally say yes to serving in any capacity. We'd love to have more people part of like the worship side of things, but just seeing people take their next steps and whatever that looks like, serving, baptism. Mm-hmm. I love those moments whenever you see just the light bulb go off and they're like, oh, I get it. I get why I need to be generous. I get why I need to show up early on Sundays and help make Sundays happen. I get why missions is important. Mm-hmm. I get why doing the meal packing for Las Chacras is important. I get why building a playground in Las Chacras is important. I get why I get why going to New York and hanging out with the Dream Center and helping them achieve their goals in ministry is important. Like those moments, man, it's just,
Yeah.
it's like, you remember these, what are these, like these life defining moments, all throughout history. People are always probably going to be drawn towards like the negative, like the Hiroshima or the Hindenburg disaster, or, the tsunamis that happen, or whatever that could be. But for us as Christ followers, those life-defining moments are just whenever the light bulb goes off and they take that next step in their faith journey. And it's just so awesome to witness it, that, wow, we serve a God that's still alive, but he's not only alive, but he's still moving in the lives of people and drawing them closer to him. I look forward to seeing that. I look forward. I mean, I don't know what the numbers were for baptisms, but I would imagine we baptized over 25, 30 people last year.
Yeah, it was over 30.
So that's incredible. 100% incredible.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for that aspect of ministry. Probably something ministry-wise, but also more personal. A lot of people probably won't know is I'm taking on a new role with the State Church of God starting this year as well, where I'll be the state pastor of church growth and expansion.
Yeah.
And so I'll now have responsibilities even outside of Southridge Church to help pour into those 66 churches around the state and help them come to health and find ways for us to grow our ministry and our mission as the Church of God in West Virginia as well. So I'm really excited to be joining the state staff for that as well. I'll still have my full-time job here at Southridge. That's kind of like an additional part-time, but could be full-time hour type job. But I'm excited for that opportunity just because it's always been a passion of mine to help churches. Because we're very fortunate at Southridge.
Yeah.
This church is awesome. We see God moving. We see people come. But that's not the reality for every church.
Yeah.
But it could be and it should be. And so I'm hopeful I get to play a small role in helping more churches experience, the movement of God that we've got to experience here. So I'm definitely excited for that as well.
Yeah, I am too, man. I'm excited for you. I think that God has given you an incredible amount of wisdom for being as young as you are at the age of 37. And I think that just being able to help other churches with that wisdom that God has given you is just going to be super beneficial, just not only for the Church of God, but just for the kingdom. Because we just want to see more and more people just come into a relationship with Jesus. We want to see the kingdom of God continue to grow and expand. And the way that it's done is through our local churches, wherever they're at. So, all righty, man. I'm excited. 2024 is going to be a great year of ministry. Yes. It's going to be a good one. High five. Ready for it? I'm ready for it.
I'm ready.
I have to make sure I high five everybody else for their. Now, are you really ready for some mystery meat? Oh, this is right up your alley, dude. This is a good one. If you could be in any movie, what would it be? Since you're like the movie connoisseur.
If I could be in a movie?
Yeah. If you could be in any movie, what would it be? Does it have to be in like top?
Like an actor, or like if this was real life?
No, if you could be in any movie, like if you could go back in time and you could, like, you were going to be on a movie and you're going to be credited.
Like as an actor?
As an actor.
Oh, man.
It doesn't matter what the role is, but you're getting paid to be in a movie.
Yeah, I would probably go with one of the biggest that has the biggest paycheck.
Yeah.
Right? Avatar was probably, is that still, I don't know if it's still the biggest box office.
Dude, did you hear that? I think it was like Matthew McConaughey was offered the role, like the lead role, and James Cameron, is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
The director? James Cameron offered him 10% of the revenue sales just taking the role, and he's like, "Oh no, this thing's gonna flop." I mean, that thing did over $2 billion, so he would have made $200+ million.
Yeah, I'd probably go with something like that. I don't know. If we're talking like some of my favorite movies, I don't know. I've got so many that I've always loved. Silence of the Lambs. That was one of my mom's favorite movies, and so.
What role would you play?
I don't know. I don't know that I would want to be Hannibal Lecter. That'd be weird. Or Buffalo Bill.
That's what I was about to say. You could be Buffalo Bill. You could be telling people put that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe one of the cops. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's been one of the movies that I've always liked a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would go with like Avatar or like one of the Marvel movies. Look like they would probably be fun to be part of.
I'd be in Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars would be fun. Like something that has legs to grow and also did really good at the box office. That's probably where I would land.
Or Lord of the Rings, because what Lord of the Rings did is it took
The Hobbit. Those would be so much. I love The Hobbit.
Yeah, the scenes that anytime they're in like the inns or whatever, and they're all like sitting around eating and drinking. I'm like, dude, I just want to be an extra in that room, because I wonder how many stinking turkeys like they went through just because they're like, all right, cut. So everybody got to finish eating. Oh, well, you ate too much turkey. Bring in another turkey. So they just
Harry Potter would be fun to be in.
Yeah.
They had some big feast.
Yeah.
There, but I don't. Yeah, stuff like that, like those like epic type movies.
Yeah.
Would probably be right up there. Yeah.
Well, the good thing with like Lord of the Rings, so like for the most part, a lot of the actors that were in that movie, like I said, for the most part, were relative unknowns, and it boosted their careers after that.
Yeah.
Like nobody knew who Orlando Bloom was, but what did he go on to do after that? He went and did the Pirates of the Caribbean, which is like another one of those top selling franchises.
Those would be fun. We actually just watched the first one of those yesterday.
Yeah.
The kids like that.
But
those would be fun too.
Same thing with Sean Astin, the guy he played Sam. But, he was in Goonies and some stuff whenever he's a kid.
He's in Rudy, right?
Yeah, he played Rudy.
Yeah.
But catapulted his career after that.
Yeah.
He did a whole bunch of movies with Adam Sandler. He did... He did...
50 First Dates. He's so funny in 50 First Dates.
And then he did... he had a reoccurring role on that Stranger Things television show for Netflix. Which, but he's still getting acting jobs.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'd go with something like that. One of the big fantasy movies, or it'd be cool.
But I want it to be noticeable. I don't want to wear a whole bunch of like prosthetic makeup.
I wouldn't care.
I would. I want people to say, "Dude, were you that dude in the back
you
eating all them turkey legs in The Hobbit?" You're like, "Yep, that was me." That's what I would want. Just somebody just say, "Dude, that's you in the background eating all that food, doing something stupid." I don't even have to say a role. I just want to be doing something dumb in the background. Alrighty.
For sure.
Looking forward to it. It's going to be a good year. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Pastor's Potluck Podcast. We'll see you next Friday for another episode. Thank you so much for listening in with us today. We really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You can also follow us on social media, on Facebook, Instagram. And you can also watch the video version of this on YouTube as well. All you have to do is search up the Pastor's Potluck Podcast. From all of us here, we want to say thank you, and we'll see you next week.